All right, let's pick up here on 41. It's this whole thing to the negative third power, this whole bit right here. Well, what I want to do is I want to clean up the inside before I mess with the outside. So what is this on the inside? We have a 2, we have an m, we have a squared. D to the negative 1 says, hey, move it below, and an I. All to a negative 3, which means a negative 1 times 3. Well, I don't see anything crossing out or combining right here, so we're going to go ahead and evaluate this to the negative 1, which just says, hey, give me the reciprocal. In other words, everybody flips. D over 2ma squared I to the third, which means, hey, multiply that by itself 3 times. So we have D 2ma squared I times a D over 2ma squared I times another one, because it said to the third power. Multiply across top, you got D cubed. Across bottom, 2 times 2 times 2 is 8. M, that's 3 of them. Now notice you have an a squared, that's 6 of them. And then there you go, I to the third. So there's problem 41. All right, let's look at 42. Whoops, we scrolled a little too much. Sorry about that. 42. First thing, I got negative exponents. I got to clean it up. I got to move pieces. So let's move who needs to move. Y to the 5th, he stays. E to the negative 5th, he needs to move to the bottom. S to the 3rd stays up top. Now in the bottom, I have Y to the 7th, E to the negative 3rd. That means, hey, move me. S to the negative 4 is in the bottom, so I need to move it. And remember, when you move it, the negative exponent drops off. Now I just need to clean up everything. So let's see what we have up top. I have Y to the 5th, so I got all 5 of them. S, E, S. In the bottom, I have E. And then 7 of these, 4, 5, 6, 7. That didn't take me long. These 5 will cross out with 5 of those, leaving 2 in the bottom. These 3 E's will cross out with those 3 E's, leaving 2 E's in the bottom. So what does this end up being? Up top, I have, how many S's do you see? I see 7. So S to the 7th. In the bottom, I have an E squared and a Y squared. Okay, and nothing else crosses out or simplifies. That's as simple as it gets. All right, let's look at 43 now. This will be much easier. There's no negative exponents, so everything's beautiful. So I have 6 in Y. In the bottom, I have 36 in, Y. So that in and that in would go away. That Y will go away with one of those Y's. Don't forget, 6 and 36 both can be divided by 6. So that becomes a 1. That becomes a 6. Clean it up. We have 1 times 1 times 1 up top. So you have a 1 up top. In the bottom, we have a 6 n cubed Y squared. There we have 43. Let's look at 44. 44, just change up of a problem. Goes back to this. We have to simplify the square root of 200. You can do a factor tree for that. What you're going to end up with is 10 root 2 over 10. If you break down 200, remember, do a factor tree. You start with 2 and 100, 2 and 50, 50 of 5 and 10, and 10 of 2 and 5. And you'll see a pair of 5s come. One of the 5s comes out and a pair with the 2s come out to give you what we have here. So now each of these can be divided by 10. We get 1. So we get 1 plus or minus 1 root 2, which is root 2, all divided by 1, but anything divided by 1 is itself. So that's our answer for 44 simplified. Now, there's the main math. I did give you these 2 SATs just for those that sort of want extra practice. So if you want to turn me off now, that's okay. I'm not going to be offended, but this is some good math that you really should be thinking about. These are SAT questions. Let's look at this 45. Which of the following is equal 2 to the 5th times 2 to the 3rd all to the 9th? This is SAT, but this is very much what we've been talking about. 2 to the 5th times 2 to the 3rd. So think on the inside, You have 5 of those 2's, and then you're multiplying by 3 of them. And all that's to the 9th. So how many 2's do we have in here? We have 5, 6, we have 8 inside there. We have 8 of those. So we have like 2 to the 8th, and then we're going to raise it to the 9th. In other words, we're going to have a 2 to the 8th times another one, times another one, times another one, out 9 times. So if you have 8 here, and 8 here, and 8 here, and 8 here, 9 times, that to me is going to be, you're going to have 72 of those 2's. Choice D. Okay? Big mistake. People try to multiply the 2's and get a 4. And that's not what we have here. Number 46. What is the digit in the 1,000th spot after the decimal point in 2, 3, 4? So this is in the 1st, 2nd, 3rd, 4th, 5th, 6th, 7th. And 8th, 9th, 10th, 11th, 12th, 13th, 14th. Do I really want to count to 1,000 to see which one? I could, but boy, what a waste of time. So let's think this through. So it goes, notice it goes 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. This is in the 1st spot, right? This is in the 2nd, 3rd, 4th, 5th spot, 6th spot, and 7th spot. If I continue, it then goes the 2 again, then the 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Notice this was in the 7th spot here. So this would be the 8th, 9th, 10th, 11th, 12th, 13th, 14th. Now these numbers seem, 1, 8, then 2, 9, then 3, 10. What does seem to be going in a pattern, though, is the end decimal. He's in the 7th spot, then the 14th. Then it'll be the 21st, and then the 28th. These are multiples of 7. The other guys, they're not really there. So we want to always look at this last bit. He's going to always be in the 7th spot, the 14th spot, the 21st, the 28th, multiples of 7. So if I go ahead and I want to figure out the 1,000th. If I divide by 7, so let me grab a calculator and do 1,000 divided by 7. I get 142.8, 5, 7, some stuff. Doesn't really matter. I know that 142 times, if I do this 7, 14, 21, if I do that 142 times, I'm going to get, all of a sudden I'm going to be at 990 something. Well, if I just take, okay, because this extra part says, hey, it keeps going. It rounds back. So if I just do 142 times 7, that's what 994 is what that's going to be. That means it goes 7, 14, 21, 28, 35, 42, 49 football scores. Eventually, that 8 is going to be in the 994th spot. This means the next 2 would be in the 995th, 996th, 997th, 998th, 999th. Ooh, the 7 will be in the 1,000th spot because I knew that 8 occurred in the 994th. So this was 995, 996, 997, 998, 999, 1,000th spot. So that's where it is. So the 7 is the answer there. You have to always base this off of that last digit. It's in the 7th spot, so we can go by multiples of 7. All right, there's all the problems for you.